All right, y'all. Welcome to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative and Projects. I'm your host, Melissa Cherie, with Grammy Award winning producer Eric Seats. And we have a special guest feature in the house tonight. I love saying in the house tonight, y'all. His name is ESTEE Bullock. I'm going to read a little bit of his bio real quick, and then we're going to go in having a conversation with my boy. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, ESTEE Bullock is an award. He's also award-winning, ASCAP songwriter, singer, and producer. His writing can be heard on hit songs recorded by gospel heavyweights. Listen, if y'all know gospel, you have probably heard ESTEE's work, okay? Heavyweights like Hezekiah Walker, Pastor Shirley Caesar, Ricky Dillard, Jonathan Nelson, Dwayne Woods, and Maurette Brown Clark. ESTEE dove into artistry in 2012 with his debut album entitled Fisherman, and again in 2017 with his sophomore contribution For the One I Love. And in fall of 2020, yes, y'all, during the pandemic, okay, ESTEE released a 7-song EP entitled No Harm. It's available everywhere digital downloads and streaming are accessible. So, yo, ESTEE, thank you for joining us from New York City.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
I'm surprised y'all two haven't met or run in the same circles because y'all both do gospel.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all because it gets like that sometimes.
It does. It does. And you know what's crazy? I actually was at, I think it was either Willow Grove or King of Prussia Mall one holiday before the pandemic. And I was a couple of feet behind him.
King of Prussia. That was you?
I think you was with Dana Sori.
Who?
Dana.
I had to be by myself at King of Prussia.
You know, you might have been. I saw a couple of people. It was Pudge Tribbett was there, and Dana.
And y'all were standing in line behind me.
It's right.
Oh,
and I yeah. So
wow,
I kind of fanned
wow,
out.
wow.
Yeah, I kind of fanned out. So I
knew it.
I didn't say nothing, but yeah, man, it's so good to be on here with you guys. Like,
hey, so if it used to be 6 degrees of separation, it is now 1 degree of separation. Yeah. That is crazy. You know I'm here, right? I'm in Philly. And why haven't we worked? Anyway, let's continue with the interview. We'll figure this out.
Listen, if y'all get to work, y'all better include me. I'm going to say that right now, okay?
Well,
y'all need my chops too.
Say less.
All right. So listen, we're going to go in. ESTEE, we want to hear more about your story, okay? We want some backdrop information that the people haven't heard yet. We did a series in January, right? And we were talking about dreams. And there are a couple of things that we talked about specifically related to dreams. So we got a couple questions for you tonight.
Let's go.
Related to that. The first one is, we want you to take us back to the beginning. We ask every artist that, in terms of what did you see for yourself as a child? Because listen, you're doing your thing, you're singing, you're songwriting. Did you see that for yourself as like a little kid? Did you always know that was the lane you were going to be in?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For those people that have had dreams since childhood of becoming something, believe it or not, that wasn't me. I never had a dream about being a songwriter. I never had a dream about being a producer. I never had a dream about being somebody well-known in the music industry at all. Believe it or not, when I was young, I wanted to do everything. So my mom was allowing me to do everything. And I was a child figuring it out and finding out what I loved and what I liked, and whatever I could do, my mom kind of just encouraged me in those areas. But I never had a dream as a child to do what I'm doing today. And I don't know, I think that could kind of be a good and a bad thing, because in a good way, it just allowed me to explore and find out more about what I was passionate about, right? In a bad way, or not a bad way, but a not so good way, I'll say there wasn't one thing that I just put my whole heart into pursuit of, like I had to do that. So, you know, for those reasons, you know, I guess it's up to the person on the outside watching, like whether it's good or not so good. But yeah, I didn't have a dream as a child. When I got older, actually by the time I met you, Melissa, back in like what, 94, 95?
90s.
Yeah. Not until then did I actually aspire to do some of the things that I'm doing now, because as you know, I left Syracuse in 96 to go to Boston and go to Berkeley. And I left you guys, whether y'all had graduated or not, from the Q's. Everybody thought I was they thought I was a student at Q's because I hung out with y'all so much.
Yeah.
You know? And so yeah, in 96 I started at Berkeley, and that's when it became like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to go after, the music business. And mind you, I had been singing with Hezekiah Walker, but still, it wasn't like that's what I want to pursue. That's just something that I did.
Let me intercede real quick, because now this is all these dots are being connected for me. Because I don't know, well, as you should know, myself and Melissa graduated together in 92. And then to hear you say that you met her in 90, well, you said 95, 96?
Yeah.
Well, no, we met before then, because I left Syracuse in 96. So,
yeah, like 93.
But
I came out in 93.
You guys met in college, and I didn't know that it's been that long. But here's what's the, you know, here's alignment. Me knowing her, and then me meeting you outside of her, and not even mentioning her, not knowing that she might be the bridge or the liaison to the connection. That means tonight. Here's what's funny about life. That's why I talk about 6 degrees of separation and how it might be one tonight.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it would end up. And then even, you know, when you saw me standing in line to purchase that stuff at the mall, I wasn't even really living here yet. And I was in the transitioning of moving here. And so to see all these dots connect, you guys, that's powerful to me. Because here he is, and I'm not knowing all the things that he has contributed to gospel music. And I'm sure he doesn't know whatever I've contributed, and us both knowing not all that Melissa has done. The beautiful thing that unfolds on us, and I'm gonna get off and let you and feature back you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now I had to allow this to to be said, because it's cool, because this is crazy, because we never worked together. No, us three haven't really worked together in the realm of music yet. And that might be a sad thing, but we need to change it. So I really feel like I've been investing in my craft. Melissa has definitely been investing in hers. And so is this young man. And so it's like, why do we know each other now? Why are we on this connection now? I always like to graduate to make sure that we do not leave here not executing the reason why us three are on this very platform.
Yeah.
I don't like to go too deep, but I don't think that's deep enough. Go ahead,
Well,
man.
first
Back
of
to
all,
you.
let me say this, Eric. You don't even know how many people I know that you like, literally, it's pretty much, you may have been in the same room while I was on the phone with some people. So like, you know, like I honestly didn't really get to know who you were until like the Soul Seekers, right? But before, Gerald Haywood is my brother-in-law.
Okay. All right.
Gerald Haywood is my brother-in-law. Rare Valverde is like my blood sister.
Oh.
I could go on. And now look, Melissa is like my sister. So like literally, we've been like a person away from ever really connecting.
Indirectly connected.
Directly connected.
Too many of us artists are indirectly connected. How is it that all of us know each other for 10, 20 plus years and we get nothing done together under the umbrella of the art? I think we need to correct that.
Yeah, you know what I think?
What is it?
I think well, this is how I say it, because like there are a lot of people like Melissa. like that I was very close to back in the 90s, right? But then life happens and it splits us this way. So, I'm still on the East Coast. Melissa leaves the East Coast and goes back to the West Coast. And while we're still connected, life is happening and there are things going on. And it's just kind of hard. It's not like it's intentional.
So
It's not like it's
never
intentional.
intentional.
Yeah, it's not intentional, but life happens. And so some people just kind of go the way life takes them and pray that somewhere along the lines we meet at the crossroad again. There's a lot of people that I went to college with that I still haven't seen. Like I can't even tell you the last time I've been in Boston.
Hey man, you're saying a lot. But here's what we can do as far as today.
Yeah.
Is exactly what we're talking about. We could now we can work together and do something. I really feel like music needs us right now.
Man, listen. This conversation could go on all night.
Yeah, it could. I mean,
but I will say this. I didn't have dreams as a child, but again, when I got to a certain age, I figured out what it was I wanted to do, and it was meeting the people that I like that we kind of know and have in common. That kind of helped me really decide this is where I want to be. This is my spectrum. Music is my spectrum. And yeah, of course, I'm predominantly gospel because I'm church all day. But as you know, we've been around the best of the best musicians. So we almost like musical mutts, and I love that. I love that. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with dreams. No dreams as a child, but I got goals now.
You got goals now. You know what I love about that? First of all, the fact that you did not see that for yourself younger than you did really blows my mind. Because let me tell you, Eric, when I met ESTEE, his gift, it's just like, it's so evident. You know how you meet people and you're like, for real, like you don't know how amazing and rare that is what you got. I mean, he was like that with his voice. So for you to not have seen that earlier, I love that, because someone who may be listening might have the same thing. They've got this gem of a gift that God gave them. It's innately on the inside of them. It just comes natural. They may not fully see it yet, but as they just keep walking out life, you know what I mean? Eventually at the right time, I like how the Bible says the appointed time. But anyway, you know what I mean? Then the light comes on and you begin to see because of the people that God has allowed you to connect with and to be around you. See, you got something?
Yeah. You just laid it out perfectly. It's not in our time that things should happen. So our accumulated frustrations due to what we think that we're paying attention to that needs to happen at the time, when it doesn't manifest or unfold in the timing that we think it should, it's not a defeat. It's really just, it's another investment. And if we're going to talk about investing, there's tiers of investing. You can invest, moderately or aggressively. It's different tiers of that, and depending on where you are in life, mentally, when things work out. Now that we're better. Here's why we didn't work together. I will correct that. We weren't as good at business then when we probably met as we are now. And now that our families extended can benefit from our gifts because we're now aligned again. Outside of initially meeting each other, now we can get something done and understand the meaning of leaving a legacy about it.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. I believe that God has a purpose for everything.
Nothing was in vain.
So you said you've got goals now, but you have a vision, obviously, and you're running with it. The vision that you see for yourself now.
Yeah.
So one of the other questions that we asked is because, we realized there was an episode called Dig Your Ditches. And the idea was that you do your part to dig the ditch, right? And then the rain comes and it collects the rain that's needed for things to grow. So our question to artists was, okay, what can you talk about in terms of things that you intentionally did to do your part to move forward with the vision or what you saw? And then how did God meet you in that place or places?
So you know what? So now this is going to make sense to you guys now. The pleasure or the intentionality or the amazingness of God allowed me to be who I was, right? Anybody that met me back then and knows me now can assuredly say that's ST. Like he's the same. Everybody has the same thing to say, right? And that's because I treat people the way I want to be treated, and I'm just a genuinely loving person. And so, you know, relationships is what got me to where I'm at right now. Because when people didn't know I had the talent, but they met me as a person and then found out I had the talent, it was just like a no-brainer, you know, and it was easy to work. It was easy to jump in on opportunities because here's this pleasant guy who actually can sing, who actually can write, who actually has a ear, like who actually has something to input creatively with what we're working on. And yeah, like call S. So it just kind of worked out perfectly because the relationships that I had while I was in the cut, and believe it or not, no, I'm not an introvert, but there have been times where I kind of just played my part and I just kind of chilled and just kind of just flow with whatever was going on until it was time to be whatever I needed to be. And so those moments afforded me a lot of opportunities in the direction that I wanted to go as a writer. I'm looking for a song. ST, what you got? You know, believe it or not, lessons have brought me to where I'm at now as well. One of the biggest songs that I've written for Hezekiah Walker was Sold Out, right? But guess what? I didn't even submit the song to be recorded. I just taught the song to the church choir. I got with one of the musicians. I had half of a song, got with one of the musicians, asked him to help me finish the song. We just taught it to the church choir. I wasn't even, I wasn't.
Did you, were you, because when I lived in New York, I attended Hez's church. And this was, we moved to New York in 1999 until like 2001, 2002. Were you there participating in the choir then?
I was there. I was over the children's choir.
Hey, so shout out Gerald Hayward, because he used to always come and pick myself up and rapture up for church. And here's what's funny. I don't know why Hez let us sit on the pulpit, but he would let us sit on the pulpit. And I'm just a drummer. And he's just we're like, why? We don't want this.
Yeah.
Up here. But
yeah.
Were you there?
It's a strong possibility that I was there. At some point between, I got married in 2002, and that's when I moved to Pennsylvania, right? But I came home from Boston. I think it was either the end of 98 or early 99. So between 99 and 2002, I was in New York. So I'm definitely sure I met you then. And I was at the church there. I was over the kids' choir. Like as soon as I came home from school, like he was like, ST, you got to work with the kids. We need somebody to work with the kids.
First of all, that choir every Sunday sounded like they were recording an album. That's just how dope service was. Service was a recording. To me,
and we was a bunch of young people.
It was energy. It was the club on Sunday. It was so much energy at that church, and it felt like a live recording every Sunday. Church.
Yeah. So what got me where I'm at now, and what's even taken me further, I believe, are the relationships, the genuine relationships that I've made with people that actually, and here's the crazy thing, I have relationships with some people that I don't even believe have met their full potential yet.
That's a whole other show.
But watch what's going to happen when they meet their full potential. And God willing, I'm still around, you know, I will be somebody on their mind. I will be somebody on their mind, you know, and I think that's the best way to do things, you know. It's the best way to do things. You know, you have some people that kind of seek out opportunities and they have an agenda, you know, and you can kind of tell. And then you have people that are kind of, you know, it's just a blessing, they're in the right place at the right time. But then you also have people like me who just kind of know people. And I may know people that even forgot they met me, but I know that when the time comes,
Let me explain.
God, like it's just like what's happening right now.
We might have
All
to
the
have him back.
shots
So
are gonna line up.
yeah, this is a healthy conversation right here. There are so many valid points that you bring up. And as you're speaking, scenarios pop up in my head, and there's no need to expound on those, but life is full of valuable lessons. And what we need to understand is nothing that we contribute is in vain. Just because it doesn't unfold and manifest in the time that we think it should, it's not a defeat. You know, a couple of my testimonies, by the time that the whole world called a hit record for me, they were already 2 or 3 years late on hearing that track. And we're like, wait till you hear what we're doing now. They're always so behind. So when you're a creative being and you know that what you have is a gem, and it is, there's a comfort in knowing that you can plant that seed, nurture it, but you don't have to.
That's what it is, Eric. That's what it is, Eric. It's a seed.
Thank you. It's just a seed, but you'll go insane standing over top of the seed trying to watch it grow.
Don't do that.
None of us have that much patience. So what we need to keep doing is keep planting.
Yeah.
Keep planting so much that you forget how many seeds that you have planted. And so you're reminded greater later, called like, oh, I forgot I did that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a blessing in it. So it feels like that's what your testimony's been.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
We don't map it. We don't have it figured out. It just unfolds on us.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
You know what else in the story that you said, you talked about how you had like half a song, right? And so it's like in digging your ditches, you working or have worked, we just work with what we have, right? It's like if you only have a little baby shovel, you know, some people might wait and be like so overwhelmed with, well, I gotta dig a really big ditch. I need a bigger shovel. So I'm just gonna wait for my bigger shovel and I'm not gonna do nothing. No, if you have a little shovel, you better start doing something with the dirt with the little shovel that you have. And that's exactly what you did. You was in the right place at the right time. Doing what, you know, here's my half a song and now look at it.
And let me tell you, what's crazy was at that time, I was spending time working on music. I was creating music. I was making demos of songs or whatever for other artists, like for other opportunities. But here, this song came to me because I was working in my church. And, you know, we're over the choir and you at Hezekiah Walker's church. So, you know, like it's good to cover some other people's stuff, but out of here, you got to have some original material. And I even explained this to my bishop, you know, I almost was reluctant to put the song out and collaborate with anybody because I felt like the title that I had in my mind, it wasn't popular. So I was like sold out. Like nobody says that in church. I'm sold out. You know, like the title wasn't about God's glory or wasn't about favor and it wasn't about, you know, Jesus and he reigns. It wasn't none of the stuff that was typical. So here I have a song. I have a song about being sold out. And I'm like, oh my God. But it was tugging on me like, you teach it. Teach it, finish it, and teach it. And I just went with it. And I'll say this and then we can move on. The first time Bishop Walker heard the song, I wasn't even at church. I wasn't even there. We had sung the song twice at church and he wasn't here. And the Sunday that he finally heard it, he took the choir away somewhere and they sang it, but I got sick that weekend and couldn't go.
Wow.
And here we are.
Amazing. And here we are.
Here we are now. It was his first #1 song ever.
Amen.
Wow.
Ever.
Yeah. It happens like that.
Yeah.
You can't predict certain things. And
You
it's
just
no
have,
matter.
you just got to do, you got to be who God called you to be, and you got to do what God called you to do. Don't worry about the rest. Just do and be, do and be, do and be, and everything else will work itself out.
That's that supernatural element, you know, that's that
telling you.
supernatural element. There are things that only God, creator, can do, period.
He got to get the glory. He got to get the glory for that.
Yeah. So, you know, some people, because a lot of artists will beat their heads, right? Just trying to do. I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen. Well, you know what? If you're doing so much all on your own strength, how far do you think you're really going to get? Like, we have to meet in that supernatural place. We do our part, and then God does his part. Seats, what you got?
Facts.
There's nothing else to add to that. That's what it is.
That's what it is. So listen, so you're talking about how you were getting things done, you working on demos in the background, you know, all this stuff. Now there had to be a time when you procrastinated or delayed or hesitated, because we talk about that, basically getting in our own way. So, you know, do you have any story that will inspire, that speaks to a time when you may have done any of those things?
I'll go back to something that's kind of recent. So, believe it or not, in 2017, I released For the One I Love, which was my sophomore independent project, right?
Mhm.
But by 2019, I actually dealt with depression and discouragement about music and the industry and everything about it. And literally, like, if I wasn't doing something at church, I didn't want no parts of it. I didn't want to write. I didn't want to sing. Wasn't doing nothing extra. People was literally asking me for songs, and I was like, I don't have nothing.
Mm-hmm,
Like, I was just like, nope, I don't have anything. And like some people, like ESTEE, I'm working on something. You got a song? Nope, I don't have nothing. And that was like all of 2019, right?
Yeah.
By the end of 2019, God got me all the way together. You hear me? I mean, he got me all the way together, and I had a moment. Thank God I have a relationship with him where he can get my attention like that, you know. But by the end of 2019, he got me all the way together, and assured me that what I was feeling was not discouragement, was not depression. It was him. And I've seen people do this illustration, but for me, it was a brand new illustration. It was him pulling me back like a slingshot. Pulling me back from everything I was used to, pulling me back from all of my expectations, pulling me back from what I thought was supposed to happen and how I thought it was supposed to happen and who I wanted acceptance from and who I wanted attention from. He pulled me back from all of that, and he was repositioning me so that he could relaunch me again. Yeah. And I'm telling you, by the end of 2019, I was ready to go. I was ready to go. Coming into 2020, I was ready to go. I was ready to go. I had watched the documentary, one of Beyonce's documentaries, and it was showing how she had just come off of preparing for a tour. And as she was coming off of the tour preparation, she was like, okay, now it's time to go to do this deliberation over this next album. And I don't know if the album was called Number 4 or something like that, but she was like, I got 75 songs to pick from. Whoa. And it hit me, and I was just like, what? Like 75 songs? And here I'm thinking that I've done something. You know, I work on a project and I got 15 songs and I got maybe 20 songs to pick from, and I'm gonna put these songs out. I'm doing something. 75? And you know that if it's Beyonce, she probably had more than that, but there was another deliberation where they narrowed it down to 75, right? So coming into 2020, my goal was I'm writing 50 songs. I'm doing it. And I don't care what they sound like. I want them to be good. I want them to be hits. I want them to be whatever. I'm doing it, right? Yeah. Came into 2020, I'm still going, writing, and everything is coming to me. But the way I'm writing now is just crazy, right? Because I'm writing conceptually instead of just writing songs to have songs. So like everything is cinematic, and I'm just writing in the stories, and I'm letting my wife hear, and I'm letting a couple people hear, and they're like, this is some good stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. And then here comes I think it was either January or February, Kobe Bryant dies. And I'm like,
January.
January. So I'm like, what in the world? I'm still going. I'm writing. I'm writing. I wrote a song that I felt like was a dedication to him, right? Here
Right.
comes March. Both me and my wife get COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching the news, and people around me are dying by the day. And we are dealing with the same thing that these people are dying from. But I already made up in my mind, we coming out of this. I'm not letting this stop me. I was down for like a week, like sick for a week. And then one day I just jumped up when I felt a little bit of strength. I jumped up, shaved all my hair off, took a shower. My kids couldn't come up in our room. Me and my wife was confined to our bedroom. We had a bathroom in our bedroom. My kids had to stay on the outside and bring food to our bedroom door. Like this is how we was living with COVID, right? And I'm like, it's not gonna go down like this. My wife has asthma. She's got a worse case of it than I do. But I'm like, babe, we coming out of this, right? When I felt a little bit of strength, I jumped up, shaved my head, took a shower. My wife was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm not going nowhere, but I'm done being sick. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of aching. I'm tired of that, And so I said all of that to say this. I went through a moment where I thought it was over, that I was done, even that he possibly might be done with me. That wasn't what it was. That wasn't what it was. And for anybody that gets in those moments where you might have what they call writer's block, or you might be dealing with rejection, you might be dealing with depression, and things are not going the way that you want or whatever, just lay low. Lay low for a minute and incline your ear to the voice of God. Incline your eyes to his word and whatever he's done in the past for you. Incline your heart to those things and hold to those things, because he's getting you ready for something.
Yes.
Or he's getting something ready for you. He's getting something ready for you. And so, yeah, that was my most recent down moment, but I'm up from here on out.
Yeah, you stayed down long. You know what? This is another divine moment, because next month, the plan is we're going to do a series of conversations about what we do when we're discouraged. And so I love that you just went in, you kind of like, you gave a little pre.
Real moment.
Yeah.
That was a real moment for me, but I have to testify about it. This is why I got to testify about it, Melissa and Eric, is because when I had COVID, I felt guilty that I was still alive. Believe it or not, I felt guilty that I was still alive.
Wow.
I knew I had friends that died. I had friends that had family members that died. I was watching people on the news every day dying. And it was like, I didn't want to post. I didn't want to go on social media. I didn't really want to talk to too many people, because I didn't want people to feel some kind of way that they were losing people close to them, but I was still here. And once again, God got me. He showed me through his word. This is the victory that overcomes the world, even your faith. You're not alive because of nothing good that you did. I'm not alive because of some medication that I took. I'm alive because of his grace and mercy, and he obviously still has something for me to do. So it's no goodness of my own that I'm still here.
Right.
But that's why I'm on fire now.
Yeah.
Because if he don't stop me, nothing else will.
Well, listen, you were always on fire. It's not that just on fire now. You always on fire ever since I've known you. But that reminds me of something I said last night, and I got to keep us on topic, but I just have to say, somebody said last night that was like, you know what? COVID is not going to take you out. You know what I mean? Like, when people are attributing a death to COVID, they're like, no, only God has the power to give life and take life. So only he knows when your time is up, when your number is your number. So, for anybody that's
to add to that, nothing occurs to God. Nothing is a surprise to God. He knew this was going to happen even before we were born. We need to also keep that at the forefront. Nothing is a surprise to him. So whatever he allows is intentional in his sight for our own good. And we will never our peon mindsets will never be able to fathom what good he has for us. We will never even be able to understand what he knows.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's always a good thing to keep you situated and keep you dependent on him, because it's faith, and favor ain't fair. So he looks at us for our faith. We need to just be faithful and remain faithful in our endeavors. No matter who's watching, no matter who's buying, no matter who's participating, no matter who's uplifting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. All right. So we got a final question. And that is, so obviously, you know, if you are moving with this vision, with this dream, it's evolving, you're doing your part, God's doing his part. Mm-hmm. Obviously it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like, it's a journey for real. So the question is, what are you doing to prepare yourself to be able to go the distance, however long and however far that is? Because obviously we want to encourage people that are listening who are trying to figure out, how can I keep going? You know, there's different things that people do. So what are you doing, ESTEE, to make sure that you stay in it?
For me, a prayer life, really a prayer life. And for the people that are not spiritual, they may understand this part is be a good person. Like really just be a good person. If COVID haven't shown us anything, and not even COVID, but just that era of COVID, haven't shown us anything, there are a lot of people out here that are living without integrity, that are doing things that are just not good, you know? And I don't want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered for being a good person, for being fair. I want to be remembered for my work, you know? The only thing that I can do is just be a good person and be who God's called me to be, and pray that when I'm gone, that I will live on. If you understand that, you know, that's longevity for me. Tomorrow's not promised to none of us, you know, so I can't really say that anything other than that is going to take me the rest of the way, because I don't really know what tomorrow holds. I am prepared, though. When I talk about being prepared for what's to come, stay writing, stay doing what I do, stay creating, always create. I don't box myself in as a writer, so you'll never hear one of my songs by an artist, and I don't think you will, and be able to say, oh yeah, ESTEE wrote that.
That's beautiful. Thank you for saying that.
More than likely, you will hear something that I've written and find out that I did it and be like, "Es, yo, you did that?"
That's what it should be.
And I've done. I didn't initially intentionally do that, but I do it intentionally now, because I don't want to be boxed in. I don't want to be boxed in, and I want to be available for every opportunity that God affords me, you know, and that means whether it's a opportunity for a gospel record or a pop record, and now check it out. The hip hop artists are doing gospel songs. The hip hop, that's a whole nother conversation.
It is.
Right.
But when you're diligent, we don't have to pay attention to genres, because our seriousness is way bigger than the genres that consider us.
We made genres. There's no genres in the Bible.
I don't respect it.
They played instruments.
I really don't.
Right. They played instruments.
There are types of music, good and bad.
They played music. Now, mind you, there were songs, psalms, and spiritual songs, right? If there's any genre, then there's spiritual songs, according to the Bible. Correct. But other than that, it was just music. Now, of course, I'm gonna do something integral, right? But I don't want to be boxed in. I want to be able to write songs that are for film and TV, that are for kids specials, that are for the Friday night musicals, if we ever have those again, you know, that are for the virtual concerts, you know, that are for the virtual concerts. I want to be able to be the person that people can go to because they need a song.
The word of the day should be diversity. When you're diverse in your craft, nobody can figure you out. what you do, then your money won't be limited either, because you get calls from everywhere. And here's what's beautiful. I get inbox, and people sometimes don't even know you play drums until later, or they don't know you produce until later, or they don't know you can draw, or they don't know you do this and that. And I'm like, you know what? Thank God that you don't have me figured out.
Right.
Because and as long as I execute things with quality,
that's it.
It is service.
Everything I put my hand to, I'm going to knock it out the park.
I think, yeah, and that's how it should be. So that's good that you don't have that limited local. I call it local. It's a local mentality.
Yeah.
You're not catering to just gospel music. What's beautiful about the instrument, the piano?
Yeah.
All the different songs that you can play on the piano, which is every song.
Every song.
That should be enough for you to say, why would I narrow it down to what this instrument can do?
That's right.
If you're a writer or a vocalist or an instrumentalist, you don't dummy down your gift for what the world considers.
Yeah.
That's unfair to faith.
That's unfair to faith. I love that.
All right. You love it.
Unfair to faith.
Ain't it?
Unfair. All right. So listen, ESTEE, as we get ready to wrap up, you got to tell people how they can stay connected with you, where they can find you, any projects that you want to highlight. Like now is the time.
Yeah. So my most recent project I put out is called No Harm. It's available everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, all those places you listen to music. It's a 7-song EP. It's very cinematic, and I'm sure that you're gonna, if not every song, you're gonna find a song on there that you love. I'm on social media, Instagram and Twitter as Mr. ESTEE Bullock. That's MrESTEE and I'm on Facebook as ESTEE Bullock. My website is steebullock.org. And I'm around. I'm always around.
Sweet.
And that's your sophomore project, right?
Say that again.
That's your sophomore project.
No, this EP I just put out would be, what is it? Freshman, sophomore, junior.
Junior, you's a junior now. Hi, Junior.
Congratulations. Come on.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and you know what's crazy? I'll say this real quick too. What's crazy is that it's just like how COVID has made all of us have to be technical now, and I have to learn a lot of things on our own or whatever. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until last year I realized, I'm my own record label. I'm my own record label because I put out my own project 3 times, and I'm telling you, we can talk all night, but like it's crazy.
He has to come back.
Well, we're going to have you back, ESTEE. If you'll be willing to be a guest again, we're definitely going to schedule you to come back on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time, your nuggets of wisdom. We wish you blessings. Of course, we're going to be watching for what's coming out next, and it's all good. All right. All right, y'all. So you've been listening to For the Artists, a podcast by Creative M Project. That's a wrap for this week. We'll see y'all next Thursday.
Peace.
Peace.